Hello, welcome to Jason the Old Millennial. My name is Jason. I'm speaking to you here in my basement in the great state of Kansas. And today I'm continuing my list of top 100 favorite albums. In this episode, I'm doing number 71 on my list, which is an album called After the Gold Rush by the artist Neil Young. This came out in 1970, and it's his third studio album. The studio album, the album before this one was called Everybody Knows This Is Nowhere, which is an album I had on a little lower on my list. Another really good album. This is one right afterwards. It's a pretty big album, I think, amongst Neil Young fans. This is one of the top albums on his list. In fact, a lot of people I've seen have named this their favorite Neil Young album. What interesting about Neil Young to me is there's two Neil Youngs. There is the rocking Neil Young, who's a really great rock guitar player, one of the greatest electric guitar players there is, and he has these really great long rock songs with tons of guitar solos and long guitar solos. Like on Everybody Knows This Is Nowhere is an album full of rock songs, like Down by the River, Cowgirl in the Sand, Cinnamon Girl. These really some of them really long guitar songs, lots of guitar solos and so forth. And he's really good at it. He's one of the best. And I enjoy a lot of those songs. There's also the Neil Young, who's the folk singer. This is Neil Young, who's just him and an acoustic guitar and harmonica maybe, or just him and a piano. And it's very more simple and dressed down type music. And he does really good in this form also. For me, I probably prefer the folk singer Neil Young over the rock singer Neil Young, though I like both. But his folk type music is so good. His acoustic guitar playing skills are amazing. And I just love his voice, actually. I'm really a huge fan of his vocals, even though it's definitely very unique, different than anybody else. I really enjoy him and just a guitar or piano. And After the Gold Rush is really more of a folk singer Neil Young album. A lot of the songs are a little more, like I said, more folk songs, more acoustic guitar and piano based songs, which I really enjoyed about this. Interesting about After the Gold Rush, it seems like, or from research I've done, it says that he wrote this album based on a friend that wrote a screenplay to a movie called After the Gold Rush, and he I guess read the screenplay, and he asked his friend if he could write the music for the soundtrack of this movie that his friend was trying to make. The movie was never made. In fact, the screenplay is long lost and forgotten. Nobody has a copy of it. We don't really know what the movie was. They think it's somewhat of an end of the world type movie. Anyway, so a lot of songs are based off of the screenplay that Neil Young read, especially the title song After the Gold Rush on this album, which I found kind of interesting because After the Gold Rush is kind of a strange song. There's lots of weird imagery, something about a spaceship. The song doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but it's very interesting. And it's an album that really, from what I read, it wasn't really critically acclaimed when it first came out as much as it is today. I think it just, it wasn't a huge hit of an album. I think now, looking back on it, many critics really like the album. It's reviewed as a really good album. Like on the Rolling Stones Top 500 Albums list, it's number 90, so it's in top 100 albums all time on that list, which is a pretty big list. Overall, it charted number 7 in the U.S. and the U.K. and number 5 in Canada. So top 10 album when it came out. Obviously, Neil Young was getting pretty big. He just, Chris's second album, Everybody Knows It's Nowhere, did okay. This one did a little better. He then would join Crosby, Stills and Nash and make Deja Vu, I believe, pretty soon at this point. And that was a big album. So this is starting to get really huge for Neil Young. Interesting, there wasn't really a big like I said, the really two songs that I'm real familiar with is After the Gold Rush and Southern Man, and those to me are the two big songs off of this album. Neither one was, from what I saw, was made as a single, which I'm surprised because I thought those would be the two big singles off this album. So Either one. Instead of he had two singles. One was "Only Love Can Break Your Heart," which went number 33 in the U.S., and "When You Dance I Can Really Love," which went number 93 in the U.S. So not huge hits. Not ones I can remember ever hearing on the radio myself. So that was interesting. Probably one of the reasons why it wasn't considered a huge album at the time when it came out. But yeah, I just love, like I said, Neil Young's vocals with the guitar and the piano, and there's really great harmonies in these songs. I believe his backing band is Crazy Horse usually, but a lot of good backing vocals, and he harmonizes really well with the other members of the band, and really great sound overall. Like I said, it's mostly all kind of more I call folk songs, except for Southern Man is a really good rock song. It's to me, Southern Man almost belongs on Everybody Knows This Is Nowhere more than this album, because it kind of fits a lot of the songs on that album. They're kind of a long rock song with a long guitar solo in it. Anyways, so it's interesting that that song kind of doesn't seem to fit, but it's definitely one of his best rock songs, I guess, and I'll get here in a second, my top three. But yeah, I guess that's mostly what I say about this album. I think it's a good album if you like the folk version of Neil Young. Very good album. So I just go to my top three. Like I said, number three is Southern Man for me. It's the only really big rock song off this album, but it's probably my favorite rock song of Neil Young's all time. Like I said, I love the guitar solo towards the end, really good. And it's interesting lyrically, kind of talking about kind of a bad version of the South, talking about burning crosses and whipping people and stuff like that. I think it was kind of a negative look at the South, of course, with a lot of racism going on there. I know, what's it called? Leonard Skinner was not happy with the song, and even wrote about Southern Man in Sweet Home Alabama. There's a line about Southern Man. Anyway, so it seemed to be a little bit of a riff between Neil Young and Leonard Skinner because of the song. But overall, yeah, great rock vocals from Neil Young. Just a really solid rock song. Number two, I'm going with After the Gold Rush. It was kind of hard. I almost, between this and my number one song, are so good. And this one's such a simple song with mostly just this really beautiful piano that Neil Young's playing, and his, of course, unique vocals going along with it. And then the lyrics, like I said, don't really make a lot of sense. I don't get what's going on lyrically, but yet somehow they're still kind of interesting lyrics to listen to and go, what is going on here? But it's just a great melody. And then there's this nice French horn solo in the middle of it, which is really nice, and it's just a really nice sounding song. I really enjoy at number two. Then number one, as I said, I went back and forth, but eventually ultimately had to go with "Only Love Can Break Your Heart" at number one. And it's kind of a little known Neil Young song as far as I'm concerned. I don't hear that song a lot or anybody talking about it, but man, it's such a beautiful song. And I even love the title, "Only Love Can Break Your Heart." It's so true, such a true statement of, it's only when you love somebody and then they betray you that really breaks your heart more than anything else. Especially when I said, I don't know, usually in the sense of, you have a girlfriend or whatever, you fall in love, and then when they break up with you, it's almost this portrayal of your love. You thought they loved you, and all of a sudden now they don't love you, and man, it really breaks your heart. And I know I've had my heart broken many times in that way. So that's what the song makes me think of, my own relationships that have ended badly. And just a beautiful song with a lot of great harmonies, and just love the chorus. It's just so good. Neil Young's vocal is so great in this song. Anyway, so that's my number one, "Only Love Can Break Your Heart" on this album. But also, "Tell Me Why" and "Birds" are really good songs. It didn't make my top three, but "Tell Me Why" is the opening track. Another song I never heard before, and I was blown away, how great it was. And "Birds," very beautiful song about kind of wanting to fly away, and very great harmonies in that one too. Anyways, yeah, so overall, just really great album for harmonies and, like I said, more acoustic and piano-based songs. Anyway, so yeah, so definitely give this one a listen. "After the Gold Rush" by Neil Young, my number 71 favorite album. So these are 30 albums down that I've reviewed, and so I got 70 more to go. So not halfway there, only a third way there. 30% of the way there. So I got a lot more big albums to talk about in the future. I covered a couple of big albums already. After the Gold Rush, of course, I think maybe one of them. Joshua Tree, I've talked about already, which is a pretty big album. I'm forgetting what else I've talked about. But Are You Experienced by Jimi Hendrix. Talked about Bob Dylan album. It's pretty big. But I got some more big albums coming up on my list. In fact, the next album's one of the biggest albums of all time that I will talk about. No, not the next one, but the next one after that. So thank you again for watching this, and hope you're enjoying my opinion on these albums, and maybe learn a little bit if you don't know much about these artists or these albums. Hope I can educate a little bit, and hopefully my opinion makes a lot of sense and is a good opinion. So thank you for all my subscribers. I really appreciate you subscribing to the channel. It really makes it worth trying to make these videos the best way I can, and get them out as much as I can in my busy schedule. But yeah, so thank you to you all, and I really appreciate it.